Hey friends, let's do another UFO drone update because this is the story that will not go away. I've had a ton of people ask me to talk about Project Bluebeam and how that applies here. And there might be a connection. So I'll tell you what Project Bluebeam is and how I think it might actually come into play with what we're seeing in these drones and especially New Jersey. So if you don't know, Project Bluebeam is this conspiracy theory by this guy named Serge Monast. He was like a Canadian researcher in the 90s, and he put together this detailed plan. He said that he uncovered from the government. It was this plan to create this new world order, one world government. They're going to do that by simulating like some sort of a coming of Jesus or God or something like that through holographic projections in the sky to basically row up and try to disrupt and dismantle the world's different religious systems. And then they were going to do this like UFO alien invasion type thing using the same sort of technology. And then they were going to go into these psychological operations, this voice to skull technology, and putting voices and thoughts in people's heads and really just disrupt the whole world and get everyone freaking out and all riled up around the whole world. So they can't trust their religions. They can't trust their governments. They think the aliens are coming. And the only one that can save them is if all of our governments got together and created this super new world order, centralized government that had full control over everybody on Earth and consolidated power. And then they could save us. And then that was the whole theory behind Project Bluebeam. Now, is that what's happening? I don't know. I don't think it's that extreme because that takes a ton of coordination. And, I don't know if they really have their stuff together that much, but there are some precedents to it. I mean, we do have this advanced holographic technology that they've demonstrated. We do have this like hypersonic microwave sound technology where they did this thing in the Iraq war with this, it's called voice of God technology, where they were able to take the enemy troops and have them think that Allah, their God, was telling them to put down their arms because they were getting these voices in their head. And so we've done these sick psychological military type experiments before. So, I mean, I wouldn't put any of those past them. I just don't know if the technology is good enough yet to do this thing the way they want to do it. I don't know. But there also is another angle to this. So our government, our economy is all debt-based. Our economy is debt-based, and our government too. So it's like a house of cards, and it's very sensitive. It's very fragile, okay? And the only way to really keep our economy humming along and doing good is with perpetual war. There's this book that was released decades ago called The Report from Iron Mountain or something like that, and it went into this, and it basically exposed that how the only way our economy can go is if we're always in a state of war, because we need that for the economy to stay healthy and to keep rolling. That's the whole, military industrial complex kind of a thing. That actually is what supports, and it's the lifeblood of our economy. How messed up is that? So, there was an economist named Paul Kruger, and he did a whole bunch of different essays and stuff about how the best thing our economy could do was simulate like an alien invasion and basically tell people an alien invasion is coming. We need to invest in all of these technologies. We need to it's like another space race kind of a thing. And then it would get everyone united and everyone together, and we'd all be working feverishly to defeat this non-existent enemy. And then in the end, they could just come out and be like, oh, I guess we were wrong. There wasn't this alien invasion after all. But look, you got high-speed rail, and we got holographic technology, and maybe we have flying cars. I don't know, who knows what comes out of it, and there is some truth to that. It would unite people. We would be motivated and inspired to work really hard and be creative and come up with all these new technologies and breakthroughs and this kind of stuff. War usually does that. War usually pushes people out of their boxes and out of their comfort zones to get resourceful and creative and develop things that they probably wouldn't develop otherwise, right? So there is some truth to that. But it's also messed up because what are we seeing now with all the stuff in the air? It creates confusion and disturbances to people's lives, and it creates fear and anxiety. People don't know what's going on. They can't trust their government. They can't trust what they're seeing with their own eyes. And that psychological part is really messed up. So do I think it's a good idea to do this, even if there's a net positive in the end? No. I mean, I'm sure there's better ways that we can inspire and motivate people to, to be creative and to have these breakthroughs. I mean, there has to be. Faking an alien invasion seems very, very drastic. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what's happening here, because there's a million different theories. And every day, the data kind of points to a different one. It's a very strange situation that we find ourselves in. Not with UFOs worldwide, because, I mean, UFOs and orbs and the spheres and all sorts of apparitions and stuff are a part of daily life, okay? We share this planet with all sorts of things that we can't typically see. And I think we are going through a consciousness shift, and we are seeing more things that we didn't see before. And I think that there are other things coming here and helping, because I think we are also going into a dire situation coming up with this transfer of power, and there's a looming world war that seems to be really trying to get some legs. So there's a lot of things happening here. So I can't say, you know, the phenomenon or what people are seeing with these drones or whatever is just one thing. I think there's multiple things happening. But there's a saying, the government never lets a good crisis go to waste. So would they use this crisis, this weird situation we're in, would they use this and twist it and say, okay, there is an external threat, and just use it to pass more bills to strip away more of our freedoms and to get more blank checks for them to do all the stuff they want to do in the name of national security and keeping us safe? Would they do that? Would they take advantage of this situation? Even if they didn't create it for this purpose, would they take advantage of it and manipulate us? Of course they would. Of course they would. Have you been watching? You know, this is what they do. So could they use some of the Project Bluebeam elements to do that? Of course, of course. So I don't know. I don't know what we're looking at here, but you know, I don't think they need to stage an entire fake alien invasion. I think they just need to create the threat, the perceived threat of an alien invasion. That's all they need to do. And social media goes crazy and everything goes crazy, and then they create this hysteria, and then they can say, hey guys, we have a plan, but we just need to pass this bill. You're gonna lose some freedoms, but don't worry, you're gonna be safe, and yada yada. I mean, I totally see them doing that. Okay, remember the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? That never existed, and they knew that, but they still went in Iraq. They still passed all those bills and stripped away our freedoms, and they still did what they wanted to do because of this perceived threat. They very well might be doing that same thing here, but they can't replay that same playbook. They have to create a new one, and maybe it's this fake alien invasion thing. Maybe that's what these drones are. I have no idea. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them, and have a beautiful day, friends. Peace.